Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodash. Double honor to the elders, apostles, and the bishops at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and safeties to the hopeful elect out there doing this work. Much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. This is the brother you call him out for the Great Millstone Camp, the branch out here in Omaha, Nebraska. Coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodash, with the Israelites consisting of the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, by the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. And I want to get into this article and also play in this video, that I just came across to back up this. So, me and one of the brothers in the camp, we were looking at this yesterday, through the Spirit. I was looking at it, and I thought it was interesting, and I showed it to him, and through the Spirit, he was looking at it also. So it's like, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this, man, because as we're dialoguing, we making mention that Trump, America in general is, as he's always been the bully of the earth. It's just he as in Trump is just getting more and more blatant with his actions on taking over certain regions of the world. Venezuela, for an example, where he went down there and pretty much just took the president and his wife of Venezuela and brought them up to New York, right? And within that same notion, conspiring to take over that region as far as Venezuela or South America, okay? Because now he also, on top of Venezuela, he's looking to take over Colombia, also looking to go into, I believe, Cuba and Mexico, right? And then now we see this here as far as Greenland, right? Where this is from the AP.com, or with the APnews.com rather. It says Trump says he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the U.S. controlling Greenland, right? And then I'll close it out. But there's a video, which I'm actually going to pull it up in my history.
A new threat from President.
So on the heels of that, it says Trump says he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the U.S. controlling Greenland. And this was posted January 16th, and I believe today is the 18th, right? Let's see, today is, indeed the 18th. So going back to this, just came out just was posted an hour ago on CBS Miami, where it says Trump threatens Denmark, 7 other European countries with tariffs and push for Greenland takeover, right? Which Greenland, the reason why, Trump is a blatant liar. We understand that. We've seen that on multiple occasions. Remember one of the first occasions when he came into office, or when he was running in this latest presidency, to become the 47th president of Babylon, or the 47th king of Babylon rather. He promised to make America great again. Okay, the cost of food is gonna go down. All right. He's promising these promising these stimulus packets. He was making all these promises and not fulfilling, which, no different from a lot of these presidents, who made these promises to look out for the American people and didn't come through, right? So let's read a little bit of this article, get a couple of precepts, and, Lord willing, this will be edifying. So just get straight into it. It says Copenhagen, Denmark, AP. U.S. President Donald Trump suggested Friday that he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the U.S. controlling Greenland. And, we get back to Greenland, because Greenland is rich with minerals, right? Let's actually pull something up to prove it, right? It's lucky for all the tabs, a lot of tabs. Greenland minerals. what? Let's reword that. What minerals does Greenland possess? Right. So, according to the AI overview, Greenland possesses vast, largely untapped deposits of valuable minerals, most notably rare earth minerals essential for technology, alongside reserves of iron ore, graphite, zinc, gold, copper, lithium, tungsten, vanadium, uranium, and diamonds, crucial for green energy, electronics, and defense. Its geological wealth also includes traditional resources like lead and oil, with growing interest from global mining firms, though challenges like ice cover, and economic viability persist. So the way, getting back to the point of what I was mentioning about Trump lying, because what he mentioned is, he wants to take Greenland over because he doesn't want Russia or China as his next door neighbor, right? Which, essentially, you're not that far from them. Anyway, when you look at the world map, let's get the world map. The world map, and me and the brother, we were talking about this also, concerning the Pangea. All right, it's the Pangea, because all these this whole landmass, as you see, world mass rather, was all together at a point, but it was broken up. All right. So look, that's not a good one. Let me find a good one. Let's actually go back to that one. Let's see. That was not that bad in comparison to the ones I'm looking at. Oh, there we go. Let's actually get this. Right. So look, here you have. Right. So you have the region of Greenland. There's Greenland right here. The Americas. Now, you see here on the far left, you have this purple bit of land, right? Which is what is this? This would be Northwest Asia. That Northwest Asia comes right over to the or Northeast Asia, Slovakia, Northeast Asia. And then you look over here on this side, you have this comes into the West Coast, all right, which is essentially not far from America at all, right? So Russia is damn near your neighbor anyway. Okay, now Greenland is right there in the middle. So Trump, he doesn't want that Greenland specifically for the purposes that he's speaking of. It's all about minerals. The same reason why he's down in South America. Okay, he's just he's a blatant liar, and his lies are on the forefront, right? So now let's get back into this article. Let's see, boom, here we go. So it says, U.S. President Donald Trump suggested Friday that he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the U.S. controlling Greenland, a message that comes as a bipartisan congressional delegation sought to lower tensions in the Danish capital. Okay, Trump for months has insisted that the U.S. should control Greenland, a semi-autonomous territory of NATO ally Denmark, and said earlier this week that anything less than the Arctic island being in U.S. hands would be unacceptable. Now think about it. These European countries that Trump is planning on putting tariffs on if they don't fall in line with his idea of getting into Greenland or taking over Greenland are NATO allies, man. Okay, and it's not just Denmark. You also have France. Okay, I believe Norway. There was another one also. I hate when that happens. Um, what else was it? It was Norway. What I say? Norway. As it stated here, Denmark. Um, France. Which these are, once again, these are part of the 10 horns, man. Okay. So if these are supposed to be allies, let's get this, because he's willing to punish those of his own allegiance in order to get Greenland. What is it? Revelation. I think I believe it's 17 to 16, right? What says the nations shall hate the whore. Yep. Here we go. This is the book of Revelation 17. And verse 15, it says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth," right? Which that whore, that great whore, is talking about Babylon the Great, America. Okay? And that goes back into, that's the same whore that sitteth upon the dragon. All right? It says, "And the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." Okay? "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Because the way that America is moving, and if you're in allegiance with someone, you guys are supposed to be on the same, having the same mindset. Then when you do something that's contrary to that alliance that you have, you're making moves that's not approved by your allies. You're doing things that your allies don't think is reasonable. Then there's going to be conflict, and that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at conflict with these nations. Okay. Now I want to play this video also. Fair use, fair use. I'm not using this video for any monetary gain. It's only for educational purposes only. Right? And let's get right into it. Right?
President Trump in the standoff over Greenland. The president says he'll impose a 10% tariff on Denmark and 7 other European nations opposed to his takeover plans. Thousands rallied in Denmark and Greenland on Saturday to send President Trump a message that the territory is not for sale. CBS News correspondent Remy Inocencio at our London bureau is tracking.
And getting back to the bullying, because Trump came out and said out of his own mouth, that he's, either Greenland, they can give the land up, they can surrender the land to him, and that also army, army invasion, roughly paraphrasing what he said, is not out of the question. So pretty much they'll take it by force. They just recently, let me pull that up, because that was another thing that recently happened where he sent the army over there, right? Trump sends troops to Greenland, and this just happened like a day ago, I believe, right? Excuse my folly, man. I was looking up the games. So that's what it's saying. But there was an article that came out that said different, right? There we go. 3 days ago, from BBC News. It says European military personnel arrive in Greenland as Trump says U.S. needs island. They just want to take over the whole world, man. The pinky in the brain theory. All right? But they want to have control of everything. They want to have control of the world's minerals, resources, and pretty much push everybody else to the side, man. Right? You can't make this up, man. This stuff, and now here it is, as it says, look, military personnel arrive in Greenland. But going back to when I forgot I was in the app. When you go to the AI overview, look how it blatantly lies. No, President Trump did not send U.S. troops to Greenland. Rather, European NATO allies, same damn thing, including France, Germany, the UK, Norway, and Sweden, deployed their own military personnel for reconnaissance and increased Arctic security in response to Trump's controversial push to annex the island. A move met with strong opposition from Greenland, Denmark, and other world leaders, leading Trump to threaten tariffs on those nations. So this is why it says, let's get the scripture here. This is why the nations are going to rejoice, man. When Babylon the Great is taken down, this is why the nations will rejoice at her downfall. Okay. Let's see where we at. Let's start here. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 3. It says, "And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage where thou was made to serve." That's talking about Israel, all right, being in captivity. Which, when Babylon the Great falls, then the kingdom of Yahweh Shai is going to be uplifted, all right, and it's going to be for eternity, all right. So it says, "Thou shalt take this proverb up against the king of Babylon," which is Trump, Donald J. Trump, "and say, how hath the oppressor ceased," which is Babylon in general. It's just that Trump right now is the one that's the face of tyranny and oppression of concerning Babylon the Great, aka America, right? It says, "How hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler." So that's his power. Right now what Edom has, according to the book of Job 9 and 24, he has the power of the earth. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein who is he? So this is that same man whom the Lord have set up. All right, Sirach, the 10th chapter, where it says that where it speaks, I just want to bring it up. Not necessarily want to read it, but just for edification's sake, I do want to bring it up on the screen. Because my wording's all messed up with it. Well, I'll actually just read it. Sirach 10 and 4 says, "The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord." And who did he set up? Who did he anoint to be over this earth right now in this age? Esau, Edom. Right? Babylon the Great right now has power over the earth. Okay? So I just wanted to read that part. That was the book of Ecclesiasticus 10 and verse 4. Right? So this saying, the Most High says he's going to break the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people, now this is the point. Right? This is the point that I want to get into. It says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth." So ain't nobody going to give a damn when the Most High brings judgment on this place. And there's going to be judgment. That judgment is going to come through thermonuclear destruction, which is, according to the book of Revelation, World War III. I believe it's Revelation, the 17th chapter, where it speaks about the third woe. Right? Let's actually confirm that. Third woe. Okay, so Revelation 11. All right, just got a Revelation 17 on the brain at that moment. Wow, I hate when it does that. But getting back to it, this is Isaiah 14. And verse 7, it says, "The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing." Right? Because what does it say in the NLT? "But finally the earth is at rest and quiet. Now it can sing again." So people are going to be happy when this tyrant, tyrannical sect of people is taken out of the earth, man. Right? They're not doing nothing but walking around like big bullies, man, trying to take everything over. The world, Chico, and everything in it. All right. So hey, we're not tripping. We being the hopeful elect, we're not tripping. We're happy that Trump is doing what he's doing because he's fulfilling biblical prophecy. Now we do know that before there is a world war, there will have to be the implementation of the MOTB. Okay? Because the Most High said that in 2nd Ezra 4 and verse 37, "By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move, nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So the Most High is a man of his word. As he had this published, let everything be done decently in order. And the Most High is the supreme expert of order. All right. So, it may look like, to individuals who may not understand prophecy, how prophecy works, it may look like, hey, we about to go to war. Well, yeah, we're on the brink of that. But that ship has to come first, right? Which, going back into that, what did it say as far as the minerals? Let's go back to that, the minerals. I think that was in it, though. Yeah, let's get out of there. As far as the minerals, I forget where I pulled it up at. I shouldn't have dropped it. There we go. So some of these minerals, they says they want to utilize it for, it's crucial for energy, electronics, and defense. All right. So what is Trump doing right now? He's putting billions and billions of dollars into this digital infrastructure that they're building, right? Which is leading America right into the MOTB. All right, as more things are becoming digital, our payments are becoming digital. Okay, shopping, though you can still go to the stores and stuff now, you have the option to digitally purchase things online. You have to scan your fingers at the jobs, most jobs. All right, so this digital infrastructure that Trump is building, also the humanoid robots, replacing people at their jobs. All right, making them more lifelike. I believe China made a robot, which Trump, well, not Trump, I'll say America itself, is chasing the superior spot of technology opposed to China, which China, they made a robot that can allegedly feel what humans feel physically. Okay, so this world that we're living in is about to crumble. Babylon the Great is about to crumble. Yahweh Shai is about to be on his way back to visit the earth which he made, right? According to the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. All right. So now getting back into this article just a little bit more. It says during an unrelated event at the White House about rural health care, he recounted Friday how he had threatened European allies with tariffs on pharmaceuticals. I may do that for Greenland too, Trump said. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that, which, going back to the statement where he said, well, we don't want Russia or China to get it because we don't want them as our neighbors. So this is what that is about. He had not previously mentioned using tariffs to try to force the issue. Earlier this week, the foreign ministers of Denmark and Greenland met in Washington this week with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Right, it says the encounter didn't resolve the deep differences, but did produce an agreement to set up a working group on whose purpose Denmark and the White House then offer sharply diverging public views. European leaders have insisted that that is only for Denmark and Greenland to decide on matters concerning the territory. And Denmark said this week that it was increasing its military presence in Greenland in cooperation with allies. So there you have it. We're looking at a dividing of this alliance. And this is going to lead to more and more tension, division, and essentially will lead into a all-out war, right? And it's not just going to be America's allies. Russia's ready to shoot over here. China's ready to shoot over here. North Korea, Iran, right? And these different nations that possess that have nuclear capability, right? Which that goes into the book of Joel too, where it says that the weak shall say, I am strong, because now they have the same nuclear capability that America has, all right? When you add that on top of these different nations that want to shoot their missiles over here, that leads us to the prophecy of Jeremiah 50 and book of Jeremiah 51, where it says, spare no arrows, shoot at her. And those arrows are talking about those ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay? So let's play a little bit more of this video, and I'll close it out. All right. Actually, I'll probably just play the rest of it. It's only 1 minute and 57 seconds, so I'll play the video out. And, Lord willing, that'll be the lesson. So let's get it.
Taking all the developments.
Today, rare anti-American anger rippled across the Kingdom of Denmark. A friendship forged over 225 years, now fraying as President Trump insists he must have Greenland. But also in Copenhagen, another rarity, a bipartisan group of visiting U.S. lawmakers saying the president does not speak for all Americans.
I hope that the people of the Kingdom of Denmark do not abandon their faith in the American people.
Denmark's former ambassador to NATO called the Trump White House.
I hope that the people of the Kingdom of Denmark do not abandon their faith in the American people.
Denmark's former ambassador to NATO called the Trump White House ungrateful.
I'm angry because I think that this is an affront to an ally that has stood up with the U.S. In Afghanistan, in Iraq, all over the world.
Is the White House being
every time
imperial?
that America went into these different places, it was all about resources. They always create a villain, just like they do with Maduro, man. Oh, he's a drug lord. He's not treating the people right. He doesn't know how to run the country. Let's get him out of there. And sure enough, got him out of there. Okay? And now who are you to go, the fucking bully, man. Who are you to go somewhere else and tell somebody how their country should be ran? Right? Whether it's right or wrong, you need to focus on how the American people are being treated. While you have veterans that went into these different places, such as Iran, Afghanistan, all right, Iraq, going into all these different places and fighting your wars, and then coming over here and they can't even get a decent apartment, man. Barely get medical assistance. Dying to wait on VA assistance. Right? Poverty's all over the place. Right? People are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. Like, you worried about somewhere else. You're not even worried about home, man. This is why Babylon, this is one reason of many why Babylon has to go. Right? Let's go.
Its ambitions.
The need for control and the need to expand the U.S., that sounds very much like imperialism in my eye.
Europe is pushing back too. French President Emmanuel Macron committed French troops to Greenland on Friday as Operation Arctic Endurance gets underway with 8 European allies to patrol Greenland's Arctic lands, waters, and skies. In Nuuk, the capital, protests today as well, with anger focused on the tiny U.S. consulate and its 4 employees.
We are not interested in being Americans.
And a blunt message Trump's followers can understand. Make America go away. Ramy Innocent.
And guess what? America will go away. All right? America will go away. The modern day Egypt, modern day Babylon will go away. Let's get a preset and then we'll close it out. With I believe it's Lamentation. I might be wrong. Yeah, Joel, the 3rd chapter, right? Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 19. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation, right? Which is, America is the modern day Egypt. The book of Exodus, the 20th chapter and the 2nd verse. The book of Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, right? Which Exodus 20 and 2 says that Egypt is the house of bondage. America fits that to. And going back into the scripture, where it says Egypt shall be a desolation. All right, this is the modern day Egypt, where it's spiritually also Sodom, according to the book of Revelation 11 and verse 8. And Edom, being so-called white man today, shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land, right? So this America will go away. right? That's the real MAGA. Make America go away, all right? So with that being said, I pray this is edifying. I'll leave the links to the articles and also the video that I shared, that you may go and watch it, read some more on it, but I'll leave it there, man. All praise, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to the elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. Shalom.